Chargers and the Texans, Saturday in H-Town.
Where we sit right now with the side is in between 3 and 2.5. There's like 2.5 minus 110. It's very specific to one sportsbook here in Las Vegas that always deals at minus 110. That's why they're kind of stuck in between. If you want to lay it, that's the place to go ahead and do it with the Chargers. But other shops, 3 even money. I even see 3 plus 102 on the side if you want to lay the number with the Los Angeles Chargers. The total, that is settled. Like we talked about the big move to the under when this opened Sunday night and all throughout Monday. Now we're settling in at 42.5. Hasn't really moved all throughout the week here. No injury news as of note to go ahead and to give out in this game here, but we're 3 even money with the side, 42.5 with the total between the Chargers and the Texans.
You have any updated thoughts on the game from when you and I last talked about it on Monday?
I still think for me, like I get why people are taking the 3. I just don't think the Texans are going to win. So it's hard for me to actually take the 3. I just like my personal opinion, numbers aside, I just think the Chargers are the better team and they're going to win. So I'd be finding ways to either play onto the Chargers or to see if you can find that 2.5 and tease Houston up to 8.5.
Yeah, and what I would say, and this is like, no matter what you like in the game, I think this will make sense. If you like Houston, bet +3. If you like the Chargers, lay 2.5. That's what you need to do, regardless of the side you like in the game. Femi, what about Saturday night? Third meeting of the season between the Ravens and the Steelers. This one in Baltimore.
Yeah, this one's been moving side and total all throughout the week. This got as high as 10 in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. We talked about this game on Monday, and both Nick and I said, hey, like 10 is way too big. That number can't exist. I get the Steelers are awful, but 10's just a little bit too rich. The betting market agrees with us. So this is now 9.5 across the board. 9.5 now, your consensus number. The total, that's also gotten bet to the under. Open 46, so we're down to as low as 43.5. I know it's supposed to be cold temperatures, maybe some wind out there, perhaps snow showers as well in the Baltimore area. That stuff's hard to project here on a Wednesday, thinking about what's going to happen Saturday night. But the dog and the under are getting bet as people think the Steelers can be a little bit more competitive in this game, as do we. We think the same thing. 10, I think, was a really good bet to make, and we sit here 9.5.
Yeah, I agree. And it doesn't look like, because I looked earlier today at the weather, it doesn't look like it's going to be terrible wind-wise, but like Femi said, it's Wednesday. So things can obviously change. I think if it's going to be really windy, I mean, you could make the case that Baltimore can succeed as well in that environment. Just probably helps the Steelers compress the game a little bit if passing is going to be an issue. And I would expect the spread to come down if that's the case with Baltimore and the Steelers. All right, let's move to Sunday. You bet here on this wonderful Football Wednesday. Costos, Femi, the crew, and you. What do we got with the Bills and the Broncos in Western New York?
Yeah, this game has also seen a little bit of interest on the dog and the under here. So this opened up around 9. There were some 9.5s as well. I thought we might hit 10 on the side with this game just because the Bills, they've been such a highly rated team. They have maybe the MVP in the league in Josh Allen. But ever since we got to about 9, 9.5, it's been Denver money that's coming to where we're now back to 8.5. If you wanted to tease the Buffalo Bills, you can find 8.5s out there to go ahead and tease Buffalo down to 2.5. That's how I've bet this game with the side. My personal opinion, I like teasing the Buffalo Bills under a field goal, but the total, that's also getting hit to the under. This was 47.5 earlier in the week. Now we're down to 46.5. That's the consensus number now. There's still a couple 47s if you want to go ahead and try to find it, but 46.5, a lower scoring game, makes sense in my mind. Rookie quarterback on the road, pretty hostile environment. Those guys usually don't play well. And also the Denver defense, at least from the numbers, we'll see what happens when they play a really potent offense in Buffalo. But from a numbers perspective, Denver, one of the elite defenses in the NFL. So maybe this will be a little bit lower scoring than what the market thinks. But the dog is getting bet and the under is getting bet, kind of similar to the AFC North clash.
So if you liked like teasing Buffalo, if it's back in range to 8.5, is your favorite like leg to pair it with the Texans up to 8.5 at home against the Chargers?
Yeah,
at current prices.
Currently, I think at current prices, yeah. Now, there is a pretty prominent domestic that has 1.5 with the Minnesota Vikings as a 1.5 point favorite. So if you can get the Rams up to 7.5, I like that one better. But at current prices, I think it's getting the Houston Texans up to that 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, Rams plus 7.5 feels pretty good, doesn't it?
Bills down to 2.5, Rams up to 7.5. Like, yes, it can definitely lose, but like you're feeling good. You at least made a good good bet.
Because even if, like, you like the Vikings in the game, the idea that Matthew Stafford, with all years of experience in Detroit, can't stroll on in through the back door, a touchdown wins, feels pretty good. We did a ton on this game last hour. Do a little more on it here. Femi, with all the news in tow, with Jalen Hurts practicing today, As far as we know, he's still in concussion protocol. If and when we find out differently, we'll bring it to you here on the show. Jordan Love practices today for Green Bay in a limited fashion and tells reporters that he's hopeful that he'll play on Sunday. No Christian Watson, obviously, with the torn ACL. And a lot of key Eagles players, obviously, like sat last weekend, are going to be well rested here. What about the Eagles and the Packers Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia?
Yeah, this one's been a journey since it opened up. It was like around like 3.5 or so, 3.5 even money when it opened. And then everybody decided to bet the Philadelphia Eagles, given the fact that Jordan Love, Sunday after the game against the Bears, said he could barely feel his hand. So at that point, everyone said, hey, you know what we should do? Bet against that team in their first playoff game. Just happens to be playing the Philadelphia Eagles. We went all the way out to the 5.5 Monday afternoon. And at that point is when we finally saw Green Bay money. So 5.5 was the resistance point, but we're still hanging out 4.5. There's a 5 out there at a pretty sharp sports book here in Las Vegas. So 4.5 is your consensus number. I think that we're probably going to move one way or another, like based on this Jordan Love information. Like that's the big thing that's kind of hanging up this market right now, whether we find out Thursday or on Friday that Jordan Love is good to go. Maybe you see some Packers interest because I think people would see that number if Jordan Love's playing and think that it's a little bit of a big number in the game. The total, that's been bet to the under a little bit as well. Like this was 46.5 on Monday. Now we're down to 45.5, and there is a 45 out there. But my guess, if you like the under, I think you can wait because if Jordan Love is ruled in, Jalen Hurts clears protocol, organically the market's going to want to bet that over since we have 2 of the starting quarterbacks. So I think if you like the over, maybe you bet that now. If you like the under, you wait and see if you can get a better number if it gets back up to like 46.5 or even 47, which is a somewhat of a key number.
On an average NFL Sunday, you got your multiple setup, right? Multiple TVs. We have Red Zone on one of the TVs, I'm sure, right? As far as audio goes, do you have Red Zone on or a game on? Just like you just answer like one of the two. Okay, game. I usually have Red Zone audio on. I'm very excited to like hear probably honestly for like the first time Tom Brady call a full game. I think he's going to have an awesome broadcast for the Packers and the Eagles.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good. Like Brady, he's been getting better. Like there's some bumps in the road, but like, he's new to this. I think it's gonna be really good. Yeah, I haven't actually watched Red Zone in like 2 years.
Like at all?
It's just, at all. Like we have the YouTube multi-view. Like, dude, I can get all the games myself. I get to play Scott Hansen. I don't have to watch him. So yeah, okay. I'm bouncing around.
Yeah, we'll just move on. Let's just do weekend because we have the Monday night game. We have the Monday show for that. What about? Man, I'm liking what we're seeing here with the commies and the Bucs, my friend, on Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock.
Yeah, early in the week we saw some 3.5s. Those no longer exist, and now even the 3s are getting bet at some places. There's a pretty sharp offshore sportsbook that has the Bucs 3 minus 105. I don't think we're coming off a 3. I think we'll stay here at 3. But if you like the Washington Commanders earlier in the week, taking the 3.5. That's what I liked. I like the Commanders. That no longer exists right now. Now, the total is interesting because we're getting good news in both secondaries. Marshawn Lattimore, he practiced today. He's expected to play this week, and he's only played 2 games since being traded from the Saints to the Commanders. And then also on the Bucs side, Antoine Winfield Jr., who's sort of been in and out of the lineup all season long, he practiced today as well. So it sounds like there's optimism that he'll return, probably like their second or third best defensive player on that Tampa team. So you're getting 2 key secondary guys back. Total's been bet down from 51, now down to 50. I still like the over. Those guys can come back. I like both of these offenses a lot in this game. I think this is going to be probably the most fun game of the weekend in the wild card round.
Yeah, and not just because we're also on NBC. Maybe.
On Peacock.
I got to tell you, man, I'm a little. I liked like I talked about it on Monday. My favorite bet at current prices on Monday was Commanders plus 3.5. Was a little juicy, minus 15, but still, like I liked the bet. I'm surprised that Washington's gotten pounded like this in the betting market. You surprised by it?
Usually rookie quarterbacks get bet against. Like that's kind of how these things go. But
he's
people
awesome,
like him to
man.
be competitive. Special.
I think he is special.
I think he's special.
I really do.
Yeah. Got that ice water in the veins.
Oh yeah, he's tremendous.